just outrageous. Absolutely insane. Every single time, these guys outdo themselves. And this time, I don't know how they're gonna outdo themselves. So we actually launched this channel with one of John's creations. And since then, you know, we've featured so many cars, but anytime we get to feature one of their cars, it's just something so special. It's something crafted by hand. And it's really cool to see how they top each other, top their previous builds every single time. I'm Larry Chen. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. We got John here, the builder, the one and the only, Slang 500.
Thanks for coming again.
Thanks for having us at your new spot, but also thanks for letting us feature this build. I actually had a chance to see this. I think it was in your trailer, right? And it's just like a raw shell.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and it was just, it didn't even look like a car. It was just a couple pieces of body. And I don't even know how long after, maybe a year, it's sitting in front of me, it's driving, it looks amazing. So this is your second SL that you've built.
Right.
The first one was absolutely legendary, still has the most views on our channel, and it's kind of what you're known for now, right? Like that's the most famous build that you've done.
Yeah.
What made you want to build a Speedster version?
Well, we all kind of sat down and we were thinking of how we could top that one. And I love the Gullwing and all, but I love Speedsters too. So I kind of tell people this is like four cars. There's a lot of 300 SL Roadster in this. There's Gullwing, there's a SLK, and there's a lot of Porsche Speedster parts too. So for example, the windshield, we went through about 4 windshields. Originally we were gonna do a plexi windshield like on the Spider, but I wanted it to be glass, and I really like the shape of the 356. So that's an actual Porsche Speedster windshield that we modified many times to make it fit right. But I think it's just right. Like I was worried about the height and how it was gonna sit, but it's perfect. I love the headrest, kind of like a Sterling Moss style, but more toned down. I always wanted to do the flares on this one. I've just had this in my head for so long, and talking to Alan, who pretty much built the whole thing, he got it. John Sabal did a rendering, and we were just, I don't know if you've seen the rendering, but it's very, very close to the rendering. So I'm very, very happy with this one. It's like a fantasy car for me.
Yeah, it looks amazing, stunning. There's just so many things about it that stand out to me. One of the things, it's interesting, these are over fenders.
Yeah.
But you continued this design feature.
That was very difficult to do, but Alan pulled it off. We went back and forth, but I had a rendering from like years ago, and that was part of it. So that kind of tells you it's a 300 SL. It's a very important part of it. So when we were doing it, a lot of people were like, you can't have both, you got to pick one. But this was very difficult to do, and it turned out just right, and just the way I pictured it. Same with the exhaust. That we were going to do that on the last car, but we just didn't have any time, and it was really difficult to do, but it's perfect. I've always wanted that.
It's so interesting because the exhaust on the actual 300 SL, this is like an air exit, right? Yeah. This is where the air exits once it goes into the front. Once it cools the engine, it exits here. It's functional, but you've made it functional in a different way. Now it's the exhaust, and instead of it going underneath the car and coming out the back,
yeah,
it just exits right here.
The Sterling Moss car also had them, but they came out way further and they looked really funny. It was just for racing. So I just kind of wanted to clean that version up, you know, like the headrest was really high on that car, almost like a roll bar. And this is just more sleek and more, again, it's like a fantasy for me, you know, and it worked. And there's a lot of things on this car that the last car, we improved so many things. Like this one's all motorized, as you saw. That was important. The interior is way more comfortable. It drives better, so on and so on.
Okay, so then when you say that it's 4 cars, right, in one,
Yeah.
the reason why you're saying that is because it started life as a SLK.
Yeah, it's a 2002 SLK 32 AMG V6 Supercharged, just like the last one. So fitting the shell onto the chassis wasn't that difficult for us to do because we already did it once, but every car is a little different, you know? They all have their challenges. It's a SLK 32 underneath, and it drives just like an SLK, you know? And on this car, we made the AC work, the power steering works, the turn signal, everything works. It's all sort of hidden. And another thing we did on this car that we didn't do on the other one is the dash. That's an actual 300 SL dash. So the top part of it is very classic looking, and the bottom part of it is all business. The last car, we made a custom dash. It kind of looked like an SLK 32 dash. I've always wanted to do that, and it was a big challenge. Like, for example, this part, Alan must have cut this part 5 times to get this to fit right and be even. It was a lot taller on the original car. So you can't even squeeze your hand in there because it's very close to the glass, but it all works, you know?
So all of this is fiberglass?
Everything, yeah.
Everything is fiberglass?
Yeah.
And
this is metal, a few metal pieces, but the body is fiberglass, yeah.
so were you able to make this fiberglass from the last time? Or
This body is slightly different. We have a friend that used to do this in the 90s. So his mold is a little bit different than the last one. It's a little bit easier to work with. A lot of parts on the last one we had to make ourselves. This one kind of came with most of it. Still tons of mods we had to do, a lot of fabrication, but it worked out, you know.
because I know for the last one, the first one that you built, you actually took an actual 300 SL and you made molds, you copied a lot of parts from it to make one because as you said, you know, you wouldn't want to hoon one, you wouldn't want to cut it up, and you wouldn't want to destroy an actual one. It's much better to build a replica and then just, you know, make it your own from that. With that said, this is taking it to the next level in that this didn't even exist. You know, this wasn't ever a thing, but you always wanted one. So then you made one yourself. So like this, all of this stuff, do you have the original molds for this so you could make more?
Yeah, we have about 4 bodies sitting at the shop waiting for new ones to build. But at this point, like it's gotten so crazy that I wouldn't mind chopping up a real one. I think it would be fun. You know, if somebody really wants to do that and spend that kind of money, I'll do it. I don't care.
We absolutely love doing light painting. It's kind of one of the many tools that we use to tell the story here on Hoonigan Autofocus. Over the years, we've been using all different sorts of lights. Traditionally, we like to use a big light wand or a light stick that costs upwards of $500. GoPro sent us this Zeus Mini that we've actually been using for light painting. It's really small, it's really powerful, as you could see. I keep it in my pocket anytime I need a source of light more than my cell phone. It's really cool. You can put this on any hot shoe or cold shoe, and it comes with this adapter so you can actually put any GoPro accessory on it, including this tripod mount, which we're gonna use for some light painting. Today we're gonna do a quick demonstration on my Supra here in my shop. To recharge it, all you do is flip open this door and plug it into any USB-C charger. Click the link in the description. If you use it for light painting, upload it on Instagram, tag me, and I'll repost your photos. So one of the things that really surprised me with the last one is how many real 300 SL Mercedes parts you used to create it, including like the grille, including like little pieces like door handles, stuff like that.
The headlights, the bezels, the
like,
fog, everything.
Just to humor me, I just want to know what is actual real Mercedes 300 SL on this car, if any at all.
On this car, like the side moldings, the badges, the grille, you know, the bezels for the headlights, the turn signals, It's all factory. And this mold is so perfect that you can just go to Mercedes, buy the parts if they'll sell them to you, and just install them, you know? So it makes life a lot easier. And plus it's all authentic stuff.
So were you able to source a lot of this stuff new?
Well, that grill is always a pain. A guy actually makes that grill. So when you order this part from Mercedes, from what I understand, the Classic Center will build you one. So there's a craftsman there that just makes them from nothing. So if I hire so-and-so to do it, it's the exact same thing. I have an original one, but it was in really bad shape. So we took the original one and basically kind of copied it, you know. This grill is like 7 pieces. So they were handmade back then and they're still handmade now.
Because I understand like a real one, something like this would cost what, 5 figures or something?
It's like 35,000, 40,000. But like I bought one for 6,000, but if you saw it, like there's almost no fixing it, you know. There is a couple people in overseas that are making these for 190s. The 190 SL and the 300 SL, it's slightly different, but it's really hard to tell. You have to be an expert, and you know, you got to measure it to know the difference. But no, I'm very happy with the way this grill turned out. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Let's just kind of make our rounds because there's so many things to talk about. As always, your signature is to use Hre wheels and Toyo tires. This, I think, fits great. And it's kind of interesting because of how much more you can fit under here because of the over fenders.
The tires are a lot wider. We have the big GT Brembo kit Race Technologies gave us. Wheels are always going to be HREs just because I'm a fiend. I don't know why.
I mean, in terms of premium,
they work well.
Made in California, made in San Diego, they are essentially perfect wheels. Like it's jewelry.
They're amazing. I love them. I've loved them for a long time. And it's one of the big parts of the rendering when thinking of the car when there is no car. It's kind of hard to picture a certain wheel on there, but we changed them so many times and we ended up with this one, and I think it fits well. And this time we have I think it's 5 times bigger tire in the back because of these clinched fenders. I don't know, I've always wanted a really fat tire back there and it worked out.
Yeah, it looks great. I think it looks really good. In terms of proportion, how much longer or shorter is it than an actual SL?
It's identical, exactly the same. And the weird thing is the SLK wheelbase is identical down to like, you know, millimeters. It's the same thing. So we didn't have to move that around. It's pretty perfect.
So what about width? How much wider now is it than?
These are 4.5-inch fenders, I believe. So it's a lot wider.
You have your like little steampunk.
Yeah, that's a Crafty
touch.
Bee. I use Crafty Bee's gas caps on all my stuff. I really like them. It's very different.
As always, I love the way you incorporate audio into your builds.
Thank you.
Always with the most high-end audio because you love listening to music, and I think it kind of matches really well with it being open top, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So how does this open? Oh, so all the switches on the center are...
The hood, the trunk, the deck.
Wow. Of course, everything underneath here, super finished, even the actuator area.
And that's where all the woofers are and stuff underneath.
So this is one thing I haven't asked you yet, I don't think, on any of your builds. What's the actual specs of this sound system?
Well, you know, Macintosh isn't like known for like hard banging. It's just a clear sound, but I like hard banging. So a lot of times we'll have a woofer down there and we might have an extra amp. And that one still works, but it's kind of like a beauty piece.
Because they're more like home audio, theater audio, right?
Yeah. They haven't made car audio, I think, since the late 90s. So finding these pieces is tough. Like I've driven so far for the right amp, and I still look for them every day just for future builds. So we have a small collection of Macintosh stuff at the shop because I know I'll need it.
Yeah. Okay. And then the rear.
This car has air ride, which I've had a lot of cars with air ride. It's not my favorite thing. Airlift gave us the setup that it works pretty good.
It does look different than your other build because of the fact that you can air it out.
Yeah, and I think the fenders and the wide tires kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it might not look right, I guess, if it wasn't as low as it can be now. Incredible.
Just our normal stuff.
Yeah, just the normal things, just stacks of cash. You got your pumps here, the air tank, which is really nicely upholstered.
Yeah, and this is where we usually have the battery. So it's accessible and it works well.
Okay, okay. I thought you were gonna have liquor like you usually do.
Yeah, this car we forgot the liquor.
Yeah, no worries. You replaced it with some pumps and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. No, this is very nicely done.
Thank you.
I love the carpet as always. The airlines are run really nice. This is great.
I like it.
You know, and I love the fact that you drive your cars. I know you guys just came back from Cars and Coffee.
Yeah, this is our second time out. And the first time, you know, this is a whole new car. It's crazy how these things come together, and you always have to take them for a shakedown. And we drove to Malibu, we did 118 miles with absolutely no issues, which was a surprise for me. There's always something, you know, and there was nothing. So this is our second time out. Today we only did about 30 miles, but it drove pretty amazing. It's a lot of fun. The reaction on people's faces, nobody knows what this is, and that makes it a lot of fun for me.
Yeah. So what about these taillights?
Those are original OEM taillights, original rubber. That was actually one of the hardest parts to find. I had a perfect set and I sold them to a friend of mine. I was like, I'll find another set, you know. And last minute, like, you know, a week before it was supposed to be done, we just couldn't find any taillights. So we got lucky and found a pair in Atlanta, I think. It's not easy finding these parts because the car's from, you know, 1955.
I mean, because how many of these cars exist?
There's not that many, but the guys that have the original cars, a lot of them are sticklers for perfection. You know, they want the newest lens, you know, like everything's got to be new. So there's people out there making them. A lot of them are crappy. Like I have 2 other sets that are junk, and it would have took longer to make those perfect. So we just did these.
I mean, it is perfect. Like the rubber is perfect, the seal, everything looks great.
And we're in Southern California, so there's quite a few like older guys that I met in the last couple of years that have warehouses full of these parts, and you know they've had them forever. They bought them from the dealer or whatever, and sometimes they might have 10 sets of taillights. They won't even sell me one. I don't know what they're doing with them, but they don't want to sell them.
Well, part of it is because they probably only want to sell it to somebody who has a real one, maybe?
Yes,
Right.
That's a big part of it. And like when going to the Classic Center and buying parts, they always ask for a VIN number. So it was very difficult to get around that, but we managed.
I mean, you're creating something else. You know, it was inspired by the car, but you know, you're making your own. And I also love the fact that it's matching on both sides with the exhaust. I think that's really cool. Can we take a look at the engine bay?
Yeah.
Again, with the buckles, all very premium. I like what you've done with these buckles too. I love that you've put your logo
a little more
on them.
details on this one.
Yeah. Always with the little details that kind of make this car special. And again, with the actuators. You have to remember which ones do what.
Yeah. It's been a struggle, but I think I got it now.
Yeah. So finished. I like the idea of always having like a window.
Yeah.
Because part of it is that you probably couldn't fit it without a window, right?
Well, last year, this is the only part that kind of stuck out. So with the last car, we kind of made a little piece, but I wanted to show that since this is like more performance on this car. It's just crazier looking. I think it's cool that you can see that, you know. And most people are so amazed. The last thing they're thinking is it's got an AMG in it, and it's right in your face. You can't miss it. And
Yeah, you can see the supercharger right there. Yeah. Well, the inside is finished nicely as well. Most of it is covered. So when you say original dash for this, this is the actual...
It's an original style dash, so it's also a piece of fiberglass. I believe it's 2 pieces, the top piece and then the side piece. So molding it together and getting it to fit, it was a lot, but...
Yeah, because I remember on your other build, it was the SLK dash, right?
Well, the bottom part of it was, but the top was just kind of like a plain... It was a really cool piece, but this is way different. This is how an 300 SL sort of looks. The gauges are not the original gauges, but we tried to get very, very close and kind of spread them out. The original dash, I think all the gauges are in that spot. But since we chopped it down, it was kind of hard to fit it there. But I think it looks good.
I like it a lot. Tell me about the steering wheel.
The steering wheel is a Budnik. It's a one-off they make for us. It's a 15-inch steering wheel. It's kind of a struggle to get it on there because it was so close to the dash. So we have a Momo adapter, and if you look closely behind it, there's an extra billet adapter just to space it out a little bit.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Otherwise, it's kind of like the old school Porsches.
Yeah, they're
where,
very close.
Like you're hitting your knuckles just driving.
But the way we did this, it works well.
On the inside, there's so much to talk about the interior. Did these actually open?
Yeah, that one opens. This one, they both open, but after all the upholstery work, we kind of have to take it back and kind of redo it.
Massage it a little bit, but it being a Speedster, you can pretty much just get in. I mean, the centerpiece for this car, the interior is so clean, so finished, and you know, the interiors that you guys build are always really nice, but especially with this, you pull up to a show and you know, what do people look at? They look at the interior.
It's a lot to look at, and
the material's super premium. Tell me about the leather.
I think this car has 6 hides, and it was a struggle. Again, I wanted to do orange like the Spider that you did, but this is more, I don't know, I just like the red. I thought it would fit the car better. I wasn't going to use this much plaid, but I think it goes well with the car. It's not overbearing, and you know, it's just enough.
I mean, and honestly, I feel like this is something Mercedes would have done, red interior like this, red leather. So I feel like that actually does work with it.
This is something I've always wanted to try, because back in the day, like in the 30s, they would do this because the paint was such bad quality. When you hang your arm over, it would, like, you know, the sweat from your arm would kind of change the paint. So I've always wanted to do this. I got this idea from Wayne Carini. He did it to one of his roadsters. So this was something I really wanted to do. We're going to put buttons in it, but it turned out so nice like this. I was like, let's leave the buttons out.
It looks great. I absolutely like that a lot. And I also, same thing inside, this shelf is iconic, right? For the 300 SL.
That's where you kind of sit. That's where you kind of sit to get your feet inside. Just like the new SLS, it's kind of the same deal.
Tell me about the seats.
The seats, this time I actually used the Porsche Speedster seats. The going seats we could have did, but they were, I don't know, after putting them both in the car, I like these better. They're a little bit smaller, but it allows a bigger guy to be able to get in it. The going seats, this bolster is further out, so it's kind of hard to squeeze in there, and it takes up more room. So these are functional. They move back and forth. They very comfortable, and they, you know, they work well.
It's just cool that the headrest is on here. Like, that is just too cool.
This is one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Alan actually made this lip. It looked nothing like this. All of this is handmade and took a lot of hours.
Just, you look at this, and then I move here, and then there's like a cool presentation piece here to look at. This is all finished nicely. And then when you move back here, it's even more finished. There's just so many sections to this car to kind of show off. I really like that. And it's cool that the AC still works. So all the functions, everything here still works.
The ESP works, everything works.
And then this center console, is this something that you guys had to make too?
Yeah, Alan designed that. So the only piece left from the SLK is pretty much this. And I kind of like that brushed look, so we left it.
And then you have some signature like of your color, the steampunk.
Yeah.
Kapper. As always, like a stopwatch. I love the plates that you guys make too.
Yeah, that was our first time doing it, and I found a place that kind of knew exactly what I wanted, and we changed them around quite a bit. But
Going Speedster, AMG, chassis number 1. Just too cool. The way it sits, it's just something else. It's so weird to see one without the roof, right? And in a way, it makes it look way longer than it actually is.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I love the 300 SL Roadster. That thing is bad. But the body is way different than the Gullwing, so this is like both of them together with a little bit of Speedster sprinkled on top of it, you know? If you're really, really into this model car, you'll be able to tell kind of like what we did and what we didn't do. But to me, honestly, I don't care. This is what I wanted. My guys understood what I wanted, and we made it happen. I'm very happy with it.
That's great.
Let me see if I can open this door. Usually Alan opens it.
Oh, it opens the other way.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so they are kind of
they're functional.
I guess winged doors.
Yeah, we have to perfect it.
I mean, the thing is, you really don't need it.
Nah, I just hop right in.
Right.
It's easy.
Yeah. When you first moved it, you just hopped right in. I was like, oh, that's how you get it.
Yeah. It looks good with the door open though, huh? It's unexpected.
It looks cool from this side. Yeah. Wait, so this only took 4 months for you guys to build?
From beginning to end, yeah.
Huh. But I'm sure before that, it was a lot of gathering of parts, because you told me about this build a long time ago.
Yeah, but like we always made the parts. We had the parts laying around, just like the little things. Like I said, the taillights were the hardest part this time around. So I have a whole room full of parts for this car. I could build, 6 or 7 of them in a row. So yeah, that stuff's all taken care of.
All right. Well, can we go for a ride?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
They're gonna come too, right?
Yeah, they're following us. You know, it's funny, just riding in it a little bit, the sound the exhaust makes kind of reminds me of like old cars.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we still have the resonator, so if we remove those, I think it'll get louder, but it's a V6 sound, and I thought it was gonna sound like shit, but it actually sounds pretty good. It fits the car.
Yeah, it fits the car. I mean, it fits the era that you're kind of going for, but the point is that what's underneath is a modern Mercedes that, has modern amenities, including air conditioning, which I can't believe this has air conditioning. But all of this stuff, fuel gauge, everything, all this works, huh? This is like the kind of car you would see up here in the hills.
Sound like an SLK anymore. That's
No.
for sure.
Well, I feel like you can't even hear an SLK. They're so quiet. Who would have known? This is like December right now,
Kinda.
Man, the weather is so nice right now. But this is really cool. I actually really like this. What you were saying about how, you can hang your arm out here.
Yeah.
And it's actually really nice and comfortable.
I remember Wayne Carini built this Roadster by some of my favorite builders. They're called the Mole family. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're from Oakland. They're straight coach builders. And they made this car for him. It's an amazing little Roadster, and that's the one thing he wanted more than anything. And then he said why people had that back in the day, and it made sense. So I don't know, I think it fit this car perfect.
I love the mirror too. Where is this from?
That's also a Speedster piece.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta just feel like $1 million when you're driving this thing around.
It's fun. It's fun. And it's got a system, which that's, for me, that's very important. I gotta have a system.
Yeah.
Jay Leno saw this thing. He really liked it. Yeah.
Oh, he was at the meet?
The first time we went to Malibu.
Oh, okay.
My brother was like, "Come check out this Gullwing we chopped up." He was like, "He did what?" But then he saw it, and he got it.
He has one.
Yeah.
And his is like really patinaed out. Yeah. That's funny. He's super cool. We were at his shop yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We've been working with him a lot.
So this is pretty much the bottom of the hill.
Okay. Yeah, now we can have car to car. We can do car to car shooting. I don't know where they are. There we go. Here we go. Now they're gonna shoot. Like this. So this is what it's like. This is pretty incredible, isn't it?
Totally unique, never been done before. One of a kind. One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. That's for damn sure. This is where I want.
What a scene here. You know, it's a thing. Look at this guy. Look what he's doing. What's the spider monkey over here? Have you ever had a chance to look at it from this far away?
Not really. This is the first time. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You know, and I think that's kind of a common theme with builders. When they build something, they're always so close to it. Their face is close to it.
It's always in the same bay.
Yeah.
Until you pull it out and it's like a whole different animal. Sometimes it doesn't work out so well, but most times it's a lot better once it's out.
What's crazy? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look. My friend. Oh, I see what you're doing. He's trying to get some foreground action. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, oh my God, these guys are, you're killing me.
You don't need me to get up there for you, Louis? You got this?
You need to just grow taller, bro. Just get on his shoulders.
No, he wouldn't be tall enough.
One of the pleasures, I guess, from just this little cruise that we took, you were following us, and I looked in the rearview mirror, and when you made like a U-turn, you kicked up some dirt, and oh my God, it just looked so right. Because one of the things that we always talk about when it comes to speedsters is the fact that while it looks great sitting alone, I mean, because, you know, obviously you change the lines of the car, what makes it really good is when somebody's actually in it.
Yeah.
and you become a part of the car. You become a shape of a car. For example, with motorcycles, that's such a big thing, right? Yeah. You as a rider, you're so much of the shape and the look of a motorcycle. You can make it look good, yeah, or you can make it actually look very bad, yeah, right? If you're too big, or if you're awkward, or maybe you're too small, there's just so many ways to make, yeah, something look better or worse. I think you fit perfectly in this car.
That's why the seating position is always super important, and where the headrest stops, where the windshield stops, it's got to be created for that one person, you know. And I think we got it right on this one.
Yeah, and because it's pretty rare in the car world for the person itself, the driver, to affect the way the car looks. Yeah. You know. Thanks. I'm saying, like, if it's a coupe, or if it's a hardtop, or even if it's convertible with the top up, yeah, you don't actually see the driver. Right. You know, but with a car designed like this, you have to have something in the middle of that gap, you know? You have to have something there. And I definitely appreciate the aesthetics of it so much. And as always, I absolutely love photographing your cars. This time, Lewis and Tyler spent the day photographing it. And, you know, while I want to shoot every car, I can't. I absolutely appreciate it so much. I can't wait to see what else you're going to build, because you seem to always want to top yourself.
Yeah, we got something planned for next year that's crazy. That's all I can say.
As if this wasn't crazy enough.
Yeah, that one's gonna be wild. And I just want to tell you, Larry, like, me, Alan, and my brother, it's just the three of us putting this whole thing together, and we're always looking forward to this day. Like, when you're the first guy to shoot this car, and it's that important to us, you know? Like, not just because we're gonna have a video forever, but just because it's you and Lewis, and we've had such a long relationship, it's something we look forward to at the end of every build, so thank you.
Well, we definitely look forward to it 100%. Also, I mean, you helped us launch the channel. You know, it was realistically the first big video that we did.
It's over at over 1 million.
Yeah, it's well over 1 million. I don't even know how. And the funny thing is, it comes back.
Yeah.
You know, like every time one of our other videos hits, yeah, guess what it suggests to watch next?
Oh shit.
You know, it suggests to watch your video, and, you know, rightfully so, because it was so groundbreaking, and just like this, but you took it to the next level, and you're continuing to refine this thing. I mean, Mercedes in general, like the brand itself, I feel like it doesn't really speak to the car enthusiast community. Maybe not so much nowadays, right?
Yeah,
maybe
right.
Compared to what it was before. And for you to kind of take on this marquee and try to make it cool and update it for the modern generation, like, these cars are unobtainable for people like you and I normally, right?
It's very, very hard.
Yeah, but you making it yourself, essentially you're repurposing these SLKs, you're making it more obtainable. And I absolutely think that's very necessary for, yeah, something like Mercedes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.